Well, good morning and welcome to Comics Over Coffee. I almost said the title wrong again. Eventually, I'll get this down. This is episode 2, and today we are drinking.
It is Blue Blaze from Summer Moon in Austin. In fact, they are on 3115 South 1st Street, Site 1B in Austin, Texas. So if you're there for any reason, stop by, get some coffee. It's really good.
Indeed. I realized last time I didn't even introduce who you were listening to. I am Charles, and this is...
My name is Jacob.
And this is Stone, who's actually in the shot, and pissed that he's not having coffee with us right now. But let's go ahead and jump into the first topic. We're going to talk about the new Marvel TV spots for Age of Ultron, which I just watched. And I'll tell you what my standout thing is afterwards, but what stood out to you?
I like that they put Ultron in it, and you got a little bit more Ultron. I'm upset that they didn't even put any Vision, which it seems that they are going to keep him a secret as long as possible, which is perfectly fine.
But it's killing me slowly.
It's killing me too. The one thing that really jumped at me was they had Quicksilver talk in it.
That was my favorite part. That's what stood out to me the most. And the crazy part is, I didn't realize that I hadn't heard him and Scarlet talk yet until he talked, and I was like, "Oh yeah, he's gonna sound different."
He's not American.
he's not American. I totally forgot about that. But yeah, they're kind of keeping their scenes and their talking under wraps for the most part, and I guess that's fine. We need something to be surprised by when the movie comes out. The banter between them was good. I like what you said about Iron Man. The opening part.
He recognizes that Steve Rogers is the boss.
Yes.
But he's still a little bitter about it. Even though there are little snarky comments about, I design everything, I pay for everything, I make everyone look cooler. There's snarky little comments, but that's going to
play into the whole fact that he made Ultron and kind of screwed everybody over.
Yeah.
I like the Thor, it's all in the swing thing. That was cool.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like all the Hulk footage that we see is from the same spot. It seems like.
Well, they added a little bit more. If you want to say Scarlet Witch taking over Hulk and the Hulkbuster as bad Hulk, they did add a little bit more of the good Hulk.
Yeah.
But it's still, he's not. I don't think he can control not being Hulk as much
as he did in the first one.
Yeah.
I think he can, but I don't think he'll have an opportunity to because of Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of a slick way to kind of backtrack on him having the whole I'm always angry thing going on with the Hulk. So, I mean, I don't have a problem with that. I like it. Out of control Hulk.
Yeah.
It's a cool thing, especially if we're going to get the Hulkbuster fight, which I don't think you read about it, but the fight details kind of leaked out a little bit. Did you read about it?
Yeah, I read a little bit about it.
It's going to be interesting seeing Iron Man's armor pieces flying around and stuff.
Yeah, well, it's like how in Iron Man 3, the suit was designed to come and find him.
Right.
And so it's looking like that's how he's designing suits nowadays is you come and find me.
Right. And I think it's smart, especially with the Hulk thing, because, I mean, Hulk can destroy just about everything. So, a piece gets smashed, it detaches, another piece replaces it, or whatever. So, I think that's pretty cool. But another trailer that came out was the second Daredevil trailer with the opening monologue that sounds like a hero's monologue, but it's actually the Kingpin.
Which, in Hell's Kitchen, because Hell's Kitchen is such a terrible place, he could be considered by the people as a hero because he's making the money. He's bringing revenue back to Hell's Kitchen. But it's not a hero as we see by making it good.
Yeah, he's just been organized in organized crime. Which, if that is a prominent focal point, I'm fine with that.
Right.
To kind of have the duality of that. and then Daredevil versus him. That's going to be pretty cool.
And they also just came out with the 30-second. I don't know if you've seen it. It was a 30-second like moving poster, is what they call it.
With him walking down the street.
He's walking down the alleyway to the street, and Kingpin's on the right.
Yes.
And there's little words talking and stuff. I like how they're doing that.
I didn't hear anything. I watched it on Instagram, and I didn't know that there was audio.
I think if I remember correctly, there's a little bit of words talking. And at the end, he goes, I want to make my city a better place.
Okay.
And Kingpin's on the right. There's a group of people on the left. I like how they've done the moving posters. With that one, they did the two Ds. It's like little teasers.
Right. Okay. Well, it's not going to be too much longer before we get the entire show.
So we got 3 weeks.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. Wonder if it's going to leak for an episode like their
I don't think it's House of Cards.
last original. But the next topic is Walking Dead update. We were an episode behind last time we did the show.
We were. Now we're all caught up.
We are all caught up. It seems like my theory is partly becoming true.
Yeah. Yeah, your theory of them screwing up a good thing.
Yeah, or my hope for them to screw up a good thing.
To actually be the bad guys for once, because they've been so out for so long.
Yeah.
Now you do see how they run things at that camp. They just kind of let people go.
It's really weird that they have survived that long, but they're so poorly organized when they go out of there. Like the mayor's son or whatever. And of course, there's the fact that he did get 4 people killed. I think it was 4 that they said. And then you find out that
it's because they leave them.
Because they left them, yeah. Like the other people were doing it the right way.
Well, you even see that in the construction site.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, that's right. As soon as any zombies showed up, they were like, "Oh, well, you're screwed."
She fell out of the bucket. She's on her own.
And the other guy was like, "What the hell are you doing?" It's like, we have more than enough time to go over there and get this girl and help her out. So it is interesting seeing that, and I guess that's why they survive, is because anytime something happens, they're just, peace out.
Yeah,
you are fending for yourself. Now, a lot of people. There's always the running joke of the black men dying in this show. I feel like
he had what was the first guy? T-Dog?
Yeah.
Is that his name?
I think something like that.
And then Tyrese.
And
Bob,
the good ones, all dead. And then the one that died in this one, I wasn't particularly fond of him.
He was
just there.
You're starting to get fond of him.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. The fact that they started making me more fond of him, I figured he was going to die. Because they spent he had too many prominent moments in there.
He should have died a long time ago, in my opinion, because of his limp.
That too. But it sucks that they're in the city. He finds a purpose or whatever. Pretty noble, the conversation he had with the guy about, I want to learn this and I want to build this from the ground up. The guy gives him the journal. As soon as he had him journal, I'm just sitting there thinking, damn, he's going to die at the end of this episode.
Like, you're looking too far ahead.
And it's sad. And then the way he died, that really sucked. I actually would have preferred to see more of a rage from Glenn. We got a little bit.
Yeah.
But everything that happened in there was their fault. And then the reason
what's her face is in
a coma. Yeah. She's in a coma. Their one friend who surprisingly survived a grenade blast probably could have been saved, but guy was a coward.
Right.
I'm like, and these are people that have been living together, who knows how long or whatever. So I don't know. Where do you think it's going to go from that point?
It's hard to say. I think Carol and Rick are going to screw it up because of the whole dude beating the wife thing.
And that was actually a really strange thing. Like, that happens, and you have this conversation between Rick and Carol, and I'm like, okay, that's an issue that they're gonna have to kill him. Whoa, we jumped a little bit there. Like when she said, you have to kill him. I'm like, how did we get to that conclusion? And I think it's because of what they've been experiencing outside. Like their answer to everything, is to kill it. And I'm like,
just get rid of it.
Yeah, I'm like, that's bad. What he's been doing, that's definitely bad. But with these people that you barely know at this point, and the people that you're gonna have to live with, and these families and stuff, the conclusion that you came to was killing them.
Yeah, the rest of the group, you're gonna have to live with the rest of the group, knowing that if you step out of line at all, we're gonna kill you.
Yeah.
Instead of
we can resolve these issues or have some sort of organized policing,
or
prison or something,
or a set of you do this is what happens. You do this is what happens. This is it. It's almost gone back to you steal a loaf of bread, you get your hand chopped off.
Right.
And I don't think Rick is there yet to go back to that section or that spot, because from what it looked like in the episode was that he wants it to be an organized style of policing where where you have a 1-degree misdemeanor. All right, you're going to have to do. They're already doing considered community service, but you're going to have to do more than what you have to do.
Right.
And I don't see that. I don't see that he does. He probably wants to kill him because he really likes that girl.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think he's mentally there yet to. I don't think he's looking for a reason to do it just yet.
Yeah, and now that I'm actually saying it out loud, I was gonna say that maybe they're playing into the whole lifestyle that they've had to live, but I think that was more of a testament, since Carol's the one that said it. That's kind of how Carol reacts to things anyway. Even though her reaction the first time, the big thing that turned people off, that was disease that was going to kill everyone. Right.
Well, she's also come from that kind of relationship where
is true.
Her husband beat her.
That is true. I didn't think about that.
So her immediate thing is, well, we can't have this at all.
Yeah, he's got to go.
He's not going to get over it.
Yeah.
When in fact he probably can.
Yeah. I think I'd much rather her taking it in her own hands than making Rick the bad guy out of this situation.
I think what should happen is the son goes and steals a gun and kills the dad.
That would take a lot of heat off the rest of the group.
It would. But then what's going to happen is there's going to be a lot of, well, how'd you know how to get a gun? How'd you know how to take one?
Somebody else took one, probably.
And then it's still going to be Rick's group's fault.
That's true. Well, I wonder. I'm curious to see the conversation that's going to happen once Glenn and them get back. Her son is dead. I wonder if the other guy's gonna lie and make it even worse for them, which is likely. And then once this conflict happens, what's next?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're gonna flesh this out in like 4 episodes anyway.
Yeah, it's the Walking Dead thing to do.
Yeah.
I wish they would go ahead and introduce whomever has been outside of the place and probably has Rick's gun from the house.
Do you think that is I can't think of his name, that black guy from the first season that was following them?
I don't think so. Nah.
Morgan.
That would be cool.
You don't think Morgan is?
No, I think he'll play. I mean, it'd be cool to have him later on, but think about how far they've traveled at this point and where they last saw him. That's a long way away. Plus, that doesn't necessarily introduce another conflict, because I don't think he'd get in there and screw anything up either. He may end up helping them if something happens later. Which would be cool if he is. It would be cool if he was the one that has the gun, and then something happens, and he's able to get it to him or whatever. So that'd be great. There'd be another black guy to add to the group since we just lost another one.
Hey, Morgan hadn't died yet.
This is true. He was the first one. That is a good point. The very first black man is still going strong.
He's still going.
Funny thing is, how has he stayed alive? By not joining the group.
By being crazy.
Being crazy, having his own stuff, and not joining the group. Apparently, if you want to be black and survive in Rick's group, don't join it. Don't be in Rick's group. Don't even encounter it at any point.
Now, one thing before we move on. The character development, the quick character development of the scientist with the mullet, where he's all passive, he doesn't want to shoot, and then he starts shooting, he starts taking control, he starts pulling zombies away. That was good to see that, because you've been as a watcher. Oh yeah, and as a person who's been watching it, you've been waiting for that to happen for months.
People needed to stop babying him.
You want him to man up and take control and to be part of the group.
Yeah. There's a whole conversation he had with a girl. He said, he was responsible for getting him here. He's like, if I didn't have the foresight to say that we come to Washington, you guys wouldn't be in Washington. I'm like, shut the hell up. You didn't have
foresight. You made it all up.
You lied. You got really lucky is what happened.
But his character development has been good. You just felt good watching that and seeing him actually be a man.
Yeah, not cower in that moment. And it was interesting because you had him finally step it up, and then you have these two people that were supposedly leading their recon group who's just idiots.
Who can't step up. I say be a man, but just I don't mean like, oh, I'm going to be a man and you're going to be a woman and I'm going to hunt and you're going to gather.
Yeah.
You're going to make the salad.
It's more so this person has a better idea
of the world we live in.
Yeah.
These things are out to kill you. You have to shoot them. And I don't want to shoot them. I don't want to do it. Whether it's because they look too much human or he just wants to be super passive. But he's willing to be a part of the group and take on that responsibility.
Yeah. I think he'll be able to diffuse the situation if the dude does lie, though. I think he'll be able to speak toward it.
Oh, that dude's gonna lie tremendously. and the mayor or the governor, whatever she's considered.
She's already kind of skeptical, I think, because of the priest. I forgot how much he pissed me off.
When's he gonna die too?
Of all people that needs to go.
And it's not because he's a black guy, but
he just needs to go. He's been a terrible character since he came in. It's like he's been a coward. He was painted into the scene as a coward. The people hated him because of his cowardice, basically.
And he's becoming more of a coward.
Yeah, like it blows my mind that he's only alive because of Rick's group at this point.
And he hates Rick's group. I don't know why.
You just, oh my goodness. I completely had blocked that whole scene out because I couldn't believe that had happened. And I was like, that's such a cheap way to ruin all of this.
But from the type of conversation it was, I think she looked through it.
Think so?
I think she could see through it. Because, he may be a man of the cloth and maybe a Bible man. He's not supposed to lie or whatnot. But
I think she can tell he's a coward.
With the way he's acting, it doesn't matter what he was doing beforehand. It's the fact of, you're kind of a big sissy.
He needs to go. I hope he dies in the next episode.
Something needs to happen to him because he wants to be a man of the cloth. He wants to be a Bible preacher. He wants to be that. And he's ripping out pages from the Bible at the beginning of this episode.
I get just frustrated. I didn't really analyze that scene too much, so I'm not exactly sure where they were going with that. But
if you want to analyze it and tie in the last part of that episode, you have to look at it as, so what is being said in the Bible is not good enough for today's world. And so he's trying to make a new world, in a sense, and the only way to do that is to not have Rick's group around, because Rick's group knows what this world is about. And how you stay alive is, one, you always got to be on your guard, and you kind of have to be ruthless.
Yeah,
you can't be
He's incredibly short-sighted, and I think he feels like he's finally found this safe place, and he doesn't need Rick's group anymore, so he wants to get rid of them.
Well, just don't be a part of them anymore. You aren't really a part of them to begin with. In fact, the scientist dude with the mullet was so much a better character than you are.
And that's saying a lot after how he screwed everybody over.
The guy who shot the kid in the second season, Otis.
Yeah.
He's a better character. He shot a kid.
Like I said, I hope that he goes away very soon. What say you, Stone? Come here, buddy. Opinion?
You like Daryl? No? You don't like Daryl?
You're like the only person in the world that doesn't.
What? Huh. What about Rick? You like Rick? No?
No, tail stop wagging.
Tail not wagging.
Do you think the preacher should go away?
Yeah.
It's like he winked at me.
He's not totally sure.
He's still figuring that out.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll get your opinion next episode. He might be gone by then. You don't even have to decide. But let's go into the last topic. This one is a little sucky, but so Sony has an exclusive TV series, The Powers, which is based on a comic written by Brian Michael Bendis, if I'm not mistaken. And if you're a PlayStation Plus member, actually everyone can watch the first episode for free, but if you're a PlayStation Plus member, you can watch the entire season for free as it comes out. The first 3 episodes are out now, and they'll continue to release them, I think, one by one every Tuesday, or maybe a couple episodes here and there, whatever. But I think me and you have reached a consensus on that show after watching the first 3 episodes.
You watched the first 3?
I watched the first 3.
I've only seen the first 2.
So you decided on the first 2.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, the third is not going to do anything to convince you otherwise.
Could have told you that.
If you guys haven't figured this out yet, we have decided to stop watching Powers. It's pretty much simple as that. Go ahead and give like some of the points that you got from the show.
So with me, there's the protagonist is a guy who had powers previously, but had them taken away. His character is a great character.
Yes.
The writing for his character and the acting for his character is not so great. But the idea of a superhero who had superpowers and then it taken away, and then could have the powers given back.
Potentially, yeah.
Potentially, if he would free the guy who took it, who is the antagonist, is a great idea. Is a great concept.
Mm-hmm.
But the writing is terrible. The antagonist, his name is Wolf in the show. Great actor, great writing so far. Even though you only get a snippet of him, you don't get much of it.
And he's not necessarily the antagonist.
He's not the main antagonist, but he is a antagonist or an antagonist.
He could be, yeah.
The main antagonist has one of the cooler powers in the world. He just disappears.
Yeah.
And he can touch someone's head and disappear, and he's decapitated him.
Yeah.
That's a great power.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a more detailed guy from X-Men. Nightcrawler. It's a more detailed, it's a less flashy.
Yeah, because he can take any of the molecules around him, basically, because he took... When he teleported with the guy's head, there was no fragments on his body, no fingerprints, no nothing.
Right.
It came down to a molecular level, I guess.
And there was, and when his head got up, there was no blood, there was no cuts.
Yeah, it was just straight up gone.
Yeah. So there's that. Everything else about the show is
bad.
Terrible. The writing for the other characters are terrible. The actual characters are terrible.
His partner is probably the worst example.
Yeah, so it's supposed to be they have a powers division of the LAPD, and he is a part of that. And he just in the first episode he loses his partner and he gets a new one, and she is terrible. The actor is terrible. The writing is terrible. The acting is terrible. It's just through and through.
Yep.
It's worse than a WB show.
Which isn't as solid of an insult as it used to be because they stepped it up. But if
Well,
we talk about the old WB, like Smallville and stuff
I'm talking about Smallville, and you can even throw Dawson's Creek in there.
It's pretty bad.
Like, it's just straight up. I can take good acting, like really good acting with bad writing.
Yeah.
And I can take, really bad acting with really good writing. I can take those two things. But when it's really bad acting and really bad writing.
Yeah. Because I can agree. The protagonist is good. He's still not the greatest actor out of actors. Mm-hmm. But he stands out. And it's because everyone else is so bad. Royale is probably the best one.
Yes.
Out of all of them. And that may be partly due to we don't see him that much, but just his scenes, his conversations, and that kind of stuff. That stuff is a lot more memorable than anything. And Wolf, more memorable, but we don't see him that much. Mm-hmm. Now, he stumbles incredibly in the third episode, though. And because at first he was my favorite. The first two episodes, he was my favorite. Third one, not so much.
Well, in the first two episodes, you get them for maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah, they spend they actually don't spend that much more time than that in the third episode. But the scene that they gave him, it was terrible. It was bad. Don't even waste your time. It was so bad. But I'm sure you can guess that eventually Royale is going to go and get Wolf out of there, and that's what he does. And but Wolf had already figured out how to get loose from his chains and stuff. So he kind of killed the guards and everything, and Royale shows up. I can't remember what he said, but it was so corny and so bad. It was so bad. And like from my understanding, the Powers comics are really good. So I don't know if they're taking a lot of liberties with the dialogue and it's just terrible. Yeah. Or if they're going frame for frame and it just doesn't translate to screen, or if it's just these actors can't carry it.
Well, I mean, if you look at like Age of Ultron, they or just Avengers or any Marvel movie, they have super corny lines at times.
This is true.
However, they have some of the best acting because they can afford it, but they have good acting, and they have good writers.
Yes, I agree. The rule with me has always been 3 episodes. Give it a shot. Gotham gave it 3 episodes. I gave it 4 episodes
because you just really wanted to like it.
I wanted to so bad. Got rid of that. Powers. That's probably the easiest decision I've made as far as a TV show goes in a long time.
For me, I broke that rule with Marvel's Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. because I really wanted to like it. Because it was Marvel, it was tying into the movies.
Like 5 episodes.
To me, it took over half of the first season to really go, oh, okay, they're starting to hit their stride and they're starting to add more things. Yeah.
A lot of people didn't start caring until they started integrating more stuff from the movies. Yeah. I felt like the first 3 episodes were kind of slow and boring. But after that, I saw the big picture. And I think that's what made me more interested in it. Yeah. And a lot of people say that they love Agent Carter so much more than Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., which that's kind of an unfair comparison because Agent Carter was able to have a beginning, middle, and end.
Right, and I think I've got maybe 2 or 3 more episodes of that left.
Mm-hmm. And it's good. It's good, but that is an entire story told.
That is going to be considered like Daredevil. Yeah, because you can have all of that story told quickly. Yep. You don't have to wait 6 months for the story, 7 months for the story to be told.
Yeah.
It doesn't start in September and end in May.
Yeah, and I think people don't understand. They're trying to make Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. the groundwork for a long period of time. So they can't exactly jump into just anything. But now we're getting a whole lot like this with this Inhuman stuff. And I gotta wait for you to catch up.
No, you can spoil it away.
Well, no, it's not necessarily anything to spoil, but now we're getting more powers. There are powers in these episodes, and you can tell that that's going to be a regular thing. Because in the first season, it was kind of like the powers episodes were rare, and you'd be excited. Like when Sif came down, you'd have that kind of thing, and you could tell that they spend a little bit more on the budget to have that.
Right.
But now, since you have Skye, who is an Inhuman, and she's dealing with controlling her powers, but you also have her father who's going to recruit people that have powers. He's getting a bunch of freaking, not even D-listers, E-listers, terrible freaking people.
And that's something that I would be, how many characters are you going to create for this thing? Like,
No, I think these are all existing characters that they already have. Like the people that they got, I didn't know them specifically, the ones that he went and recruited, but I could see them becoming some of the characters I already know. And like just looking at them now, I'm like, they're freaking terrible. Like there's a girl that has little freaking knives coming out of her fingers.
That's a little creepy.
Yeah, but the actress is good. So I'm like, she's probably going to be a little bit longer, on the series or whatever. And I can't remember the girl's name, but I think she has like a cheetah print thing. And I can imagine her being like the more modern version of that or darker version of that. And there was a guy that screamed, and I think he killed all of those people. I don't know if they were just unconscious or not, but he like, they had his mouth barred or whatever. They took it off and he did this scream, and like everyone either died or just passed out, and like all the birds and everything from that area just gone. And I think they were all dead. And if that was the case, this season's pretty freaking dark already. Then they had another dude that was just marginally more strong than everyone, and a really, really intelligent guy. So, and then they have the guy that can teleport, which you already have seen him. And he's very interesting. So he's one of the more powerful out of the group. But when he shows up on the scene, like they definitely have to spend a little more extra monies with this guy.
Yeah, but it's Disney. They
can afford it now.
They can afford it because if it's going to be a staple for a long time, people are involved due to the movies.
Right.
And due to everything that they're doing at Disney, they're adding all that Marvel stuff to their parks.
Yep.
So they're already invested.
Mm-hmm.
And so since they're invested, they know people are going to watch the show. And because people are going to watch the show, they can add a little bit to it.
Yeah, that's true. And I'm curious to see how much the miniseries like Agent Carter and Daredevil and Jessica Jones will influence Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Man, they need to have the Dum Dum Dugans group.
Give them their own miniseries. Because they could, like, the Agent Carter thing, 8 episodes or so? Something like that?
7 or 8 episodes.
7 or 8 episodes, give us a full story. Do that with the other group.
Yeah.
Give us Howling Commandos in the past. Give us a little bit more history on Trip because, it sucks that he's dead. It was a pretty awesome character. They can go into the past with him. Like, DC is doing the whole thing where they're doing an anthology show, which is going to have Atom. The Atom is going to have the Canary, the one that passed away. They're going to have her character, and it's just going to be different time periods that they cover and them going on their adventures. And they may even have villains. They're going to have the villains, the Captain Cold or whatever, and all of them. The DC villain names are so bad. But The Flash makes it hilarious. That show makes it really funny, so it's cool. It's kind of it's mocking it anyway, and I'm like, smart way to go. But Marvel can do that. They can go to any time period, and they don't have to become like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is hurt by the fact that it's confined to a time period.
Yeah.
In the long run, that's going to be fine. But these other shows don't necessarily have to be confined. Like extra miniseries like Agent Carter. Mm-hmm. I think Daredevil and those shows, the Netflix shows, I think they will be.
They will or will not be.
They will be. Because they're attached to each other. So they'll be confined to that.
And I don't see that being a problem.
No.
Because you've got all this happening over here, and then you've got these.
Yeah.
And they'll reference this.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not going to have to do anything.
Yeah. I'm still very, very curious to see how connected they're going to make that whole world. Like, are we going to see an Agent Coulson in Daredevil at some point? You know what I'm saying? Like, or the other characters from the show, are we going to see them interact in any way? With Daredevil's show, it's not necessary because the Hell's Kitchen kind of is its own thing.
Yeah, you're going to have Hell's Kitchen, you're going to have the Agents, and then you're going to have Avengers. Mm. And they're not really going to interact too much because they can be their own things. Avengers won't have to deal with Hell's Kitchen.
Right.
Because we've got some people down there. We don't have to worry about it.
That's true. And then they're going to have all of them. They're going to have that, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage,
right.
And Iron
Fist.
But
when the Civil War happens,
everybody come together.
We'll see how that deals.
Now, do you think that we'll get the characters created in the Netflix series in the movies?
If we do, I hope it's not like DC where
different actors.
Different actors. If we do, I hope they say, "Hey man, we'll pay you, this much for a cameo. All it is you got to show up, dress your part, and act for a few minutes."
I think they're already telling us that they won't switch that up because we have Sif from the movies, directly in the movies, and then we've had Peter Coulson, in the movies too. So I think they're fine with going back and forth with that, and they probably already have it in their contracts too.
Yeah.
So that's going to be very intriguing. It's going to be awesome to have and then there's two parts. Like it would make sense to have everyone involved.
Right.
It doesn't necessarily have to be the entire Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but the major players, like have Daisy, Quake, like have her in there because she's empowered. She's gifted, as they say now, and then have Daredevil and Luke Cage and all that. Miracles, yes.
The Age of Miracles.
They call them Inhumans, by the way. They actually said the name in the show now.
the one guy says it's inhuman.
Yeah, and what episode have you watched last of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
I don't remember. It was so long ago.
So you haven't seen the alien that came down?
I don't think so.
The Kree, yeah. Like, and they do this episode. Last season we were trying to speculate. Is that a Kree? And are we gonna have alien involvement? They just had a whole episode where a Kree warrior came to Earth to destroy the Inhumans. And I was like, that's freaking awesome.
Someone's making coffee.
Someone is making coffee.
We're gonna need to go join them.
I think so. But that has been our episode 2. That went on a little bit longer than we intended, but I think we can edit this down pretty good.
Oh yeah.
And we will see you guys next week.
And if there's something you want us to talk about, comment.
Absolutely. Let us know. This one's going to be in video format, so it'll be on YouTube. So shoot us comments, and we will answer things to the best of our ability, and hopefully Stone will have an opinion. He's kind of at the back of his... Oh, he's wagging tail.
And if we can't answer it, we'll look it up on Wikipedia.
Absolutely. Y'all have a good day.